Well, joining me now is our friend Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury, member of Oversight and National Resources Committees. It's good to see you. So the Cook Report, it has changed Senate races in Iowa and Texas from leans red to a toss-up. That's a big deal for your party ahead of the midterms. Now, we should say MS Now's ratings still lean Republican on those states. But are you confident the Democrats will win back the House and maybe now the Senate?
Yeah, I mean, I think the data is very clear that as it stands today, Democrats will not only flip the House, but we will take back control in January, and we will put this country back on a path towards prosperity, of fighting for the working people of this country and fighting against the blatant corruption that we are seeing in Washington, D.C. right now. And so I'm very confident and very bullish about the midterms in the House. We'll see what happens in the Senate. But what I know right now is that the American people are seeing the economy in shambles. They can't afford housing. They can't afford gas. They can't afford food. The president is waging an illegal war in the Middle East that has claimed the lives and wounded over 175 service members. And the American people are losing faith in their government. And so what we need to do right now is to organize, to mobilize, and to get ready for the midterms, and we will win.
So on Friday, Trump vowed to start dishing out dollars from his alleged $850 million war chest. I mean, there are reports that money, or the lack thereof, has been a major discussion within the DNC. Does this shake your confidence at all?
No, because I think what Democrats do best is mobilize and fight for working people. And when you have excellent candidates, when you have people who are fighting for the right things, who are on the right side of history, and who are organizing in our communities, that's how you win. That's how you fight for and you win our democracy. And Democrats are showing that all over the country. Since the last election, we have flipped dozens of state legislative seats, city council seats, county commission seats, and Republicans have not. And what that shows is that the American people are smart, they understand the moment, and they understand that their job is to make sure to show up to vote. And I think the American people understand the significance and the gravity of this moment, and I'm confident that they're going to show up in November.
So if the Democrats take over one or both chambers, what are some of the investigations into the Trump administration being floated by your peers? Which ones would you push for?
Well, I think obviously the Epstein files is at the top of our list. We need and we demand justice, not only for the Epstein victims themselves, but for all people who have been victims of sexual assault and crimes. And so that is one of the major areas that the Oversight Committee and the Judiciary Committee are looking at. How do we stand up some sort of investigatory body that is real, that is able to actually get to the bottom of this case? Obviously, we're going to investigate the president, his family, and all of his cronies who've been profiting off of the presidency illegally, making over $2 billion alone last year, and insider trading, even from this summer's stock trading disclosures that the president published just this week. So there's a lot of investigations. Certainly, I don't think the president's wrong that we don't intend to hold him accountable using every tool we have, potentially impeachment. And so there's a lot of work in front of us. But I think there's a bigger challenge that we have to be cognizant of, is that we are going to have to prepare for potential both criminal and civil cases that can only be prosecuted once we have a Department of Justice that is willing to do its job. And so this is both a short-term accountability issue as well as preparing the groundwork for long-term accountability for everyone who's committing crimes in our government right now.
So Trump's executive assistant and constant aide, Natalie Harper, is getting a lot of attention this week. Aside from reports on her unusual relationship with the president, we have learned that she worked in the White House with exposure to much of what the president sees for a year without security clearance. What's your reaction to that? And will your oversight committee look into this? And how would this even happen?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's very peculiar to me as somebody who worked in the office of the president. I worked at the Office of Management and Budget, and you are not even allowed to serve inside of that complex without going through an extensive vetting that includes FBI investigations into your family, your history, your travel, your connections. And so the fact that she was allowed to even be on the complex for an extended amount of time is very troubling. But the reports that are most troubling to me, aside from the gossip and drama around, their potential relationship is that members of Trump's own closest allies are concerned about her presence and are concerned that she's acting as a direct conduit to the president and not going through the official chains. That, to me, signals that she is not acting in a manner that is appropriate for the White House and controlled access to the president, who controls the nuclear codes. And so, absolutely, this needs to be investigated.
So trade discussions, as you know, between the U.S. and Canada blew up Friday with no plans for either side to return to the table. Canada, of course, one of our biggest trading partners. So what is the impact for Americans if it is not quickly resolved?
Yeah, well, let me just say this country is basically at the current moment has a leader who is a madman, who his foreign policy is endangering our foreign service members, it's endangering our economy, and it's endangering our closest allies, including our biggest trade partners like Canada. And, the president likes to claim that this is all part of the art of the deal. And I hope that our trade negotiations get back on track, because Canada is not only a vital trading partner, Canada is part and parcel of national security, of economic security, the well-being of both Americans and Canadians on the North American continent. And we need for things to get back on track.
As you know, the USS Lincoln, it is on its way back to its home port in San Diego after being in the Middle East for 7 months. This decision came, though, after concerning reports about the conditions on board. As someone who has an active duty family member, what is your reaction to how the Pentagon has handled this situation?
Yeah, the first thing that I want to say is to every single service member, every member of the Navy, every Marine on that ship, thank you for your service. Thank you for your resilience. Thank you for your endurance. It is unimaginable what these service members have been put through over the last 9 months, and it is enraging to the community of people who have served this military, who have served this great nation, and their families, that this deployment went on, the lies that covered up what was happening and the failures of resupply, and the fact that the president and his cabinet, his Secretary of Defense, are so incompetent that they not only stopped the resupply of this ship, but it was more important to them to cover it up than to care for the well-being and the mental health and the well-being of U.S. service members. It is malicious and malign and horrific negligence. And I believe that ultimately, Pete Hegseth, it's part of why I've supported his impeachment. He should not be serving as our Secretary of Defense. And we're grateful for the service of our service members. And they have endured the most unimaginable difficulties over the last 9 months. We're grateful that they're on their way back home. But this Department of Defense needs to be held accountable.
I know they'll be glad to get to their home port and get off the ship for a good long while. Okay. Melanie Stansbury, It's always good to talk with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.